everybody, and welcome to another product review video. And this is kind of a fun one. I suppose it's part product review, part unboxing, I guess. I don't know, I don't normally do that. But I just wanted to kind of talk about the Toughest Girls in the Galaxy 2 miniatures. So if you watch Warhammer Weekly, you're probably aware that I was in on the Kickstarter for that. So we had been waiting on these miniatures for a while. And well, they're finally here. So I thought I would give everybody a little insight into these miniatures and kind of show you what I got. So what I'm going to focus on today is what's ready right now, which is the freebies is mainly what they delivered. So let's just get right into it. So here's one that's still on the sprue, right? So here we go. And I'm going to apologize right up front for not remembering everyone's name. Let's see if it says Sin Zarith. Sure, there you go. Okay, so some thoughts on these. All the miniatures that I got, which I got all the freebies plus some of the other characters, were done out of the Battle Sisters. Most of my order went to Battle Sisters. Most of them are strangely in, I guess, a different type of plastic. So for example, if you see how dark that one is, and then we'll get out one of our Battle Sisters here, right? You can see the sort of difference in, like, it feels like the same plastic. Like, it's the same hardness. It's just a different color. I haven't noticed any difference in them between the two. Just an interesting observation. Even down to, like, this little girl here. See if I can get her out. There you go. She's like a third color. She's very dark. The miniatures themselves, I'm trying to get it as close as I can there so you can see. The cast of these is absolutely fantastic. So let me just say that right out of the gate. The detail level, the quality of the cast, that is to say the amount of detail that's preserved, is absolutely exceptional. So I'm using some of the darker ones here because I think they show up better on camera. But like here, let's get out the sort of one of the mother matrons from the Battle Sisters. Like, you can look at her dress, like the sensor that's hanging down here. Obviously, I don't have them glued together, but like the brocade on the dress, right? You can see how fantastically minuscule that detail is, to the point where some of these are actually a bit intimidating to even think about painting. Although, and like, you know, pretty standard when you get to the bottom, it's not as detailed. But for the majority of the miniature, you're going to see, assuming it's standing there like this, right? Extremely high quality. Most of the miniatures were pretty free of mold lines or anything like that. I mean, there's some, of course. It's not, like, no miniature comes out without mold lines. But for the most part, it's not too bad. I took a lot of them out and did some scraping and stuff. It wasn't that much work to get them cleaned up. So here's one of the Battle Sisters that I had kind of taken off and already cleaned up. Or I guess maybe she's actually one of the evil girls. Honestly, I don't remember at this point. But this will be a good miniature to show off the thing you very much have to watch out for with these girls. You see how reflective she is? Like, you can actually see that gloss. Okay? These things, when I got them in, were just covered in mold release. And I mean, it is down in the plastic. So one of the things they say you're supposed to do is let it just air out for several days. And then you need to scrub them with, you know, dish soap or something like that. I got them that first day. I was pretty excited. I soaked them all in water and dish soap. I scrubbed them, and it wasn't enough. Like, I scrubbed them with like a toothbrush, and it wasn't enough. Because when I painted up one of these, I painted up Zarsis, the Harpy Queen. So I don't have her. She's sort of over on a base. But when I did paint her up, and you can see they're all, to varying degrees, they have that shine. And like when I run my finger over it, I can actually feel sort of the greasiness of the miniature. I can feel it on my fingers. Like, it's some of the most coated I've ever had miniatures in mold release. So you really, really, really have to clean this up because I scrubbed her, I thought I had it off, and then I guess more probably seeped up out of the plastic or something, or maybe I just didn't scrub it well enough or use enough dish soap. It's hard to say, but whatever the case, when I primed it, it certainly did then dry out, and that caused the primer to like shrink up some and created a little bit of a rough texture on the primer. So make sure you really adequately clean these when you get them. Obviously, the Kickstarter's over, the pledge manager's closed, but a lot of these will be available soon for purchase. So when you look at getting these sort of retail, or if you've got yours, my advice would be definitely scrub. That would be the biggest, most important tip I would tell you. Just kind of looking at a few more of them here. Like we've got the dancer, who's obviously a great model for, there you go, you can see her for like one of your, say, daemonettes or something like that. She's out of the Lust Elves faction. Again, she's a little lighter color, so she doesn't show up quite as well on camera. But the detail level on these is really, truly fantastic. Here's another one. She's sort of missing her head, obviously, but you can just look at the dress, and see just like how fine that detail is. Okay, so all in all, as far as the detail, the cast, all of those sorts of things, I was very impressed. Cleanup wise, not too bad with the mold lines, but I saved this one on the sprue to show you that flash, however, is most certainly a thing. Now, this is absolutely the worst one. Okay, most of them were not this bad, but my goodness, like the flash here, right? It obviously all this stuff cleans up and comes off really easy. Like I can just break it away with my finger for the most part. But all of them have this sort of like mold flash to some degree or another. So cleanup wise, even though you're not spending a lot of time scraping mold lines, you are getting all these little bits of, this little plastic off and stuff like that. And you have to be careful because, like, looking at her, that's a piece. Like, that's her arm, right? But it would be really easy to not see that and think that that was just, some bit, some junk, and accidentally toss it. So when you're sort of cleaning these up, here's another one that I pulled some of the flash out of the middle, but I left her on the sprue. So like I've already pulled a lot of this in between flash off of her, right? But you have to be very careful and I would really recommend that you clean this stuff out first, this middle, and then really figure out what's a piece and what's not, and then go from there. So all in all, I'll see if I can just set some of them down here so you can kind of see them. I'll just quickly go through some of the different models that are here in the freebie. They're all pretty great. I have that in some of the characters. If you're a fan of like the Battle Sisters, you really can't, like whether you're doing fantasy or sci-fi, you really couldn't go wrong with these. Like the fact that GW hasn't remade Sisters of Battle in plastic more or less just became irrelevant because the sisters that are in here that you can buy are just absolutely top-notch. Like when you look at the detail level on the armor and everything. Now we're still a little ways away. I don't know exactly how much time from the delivery of the troops, but they have all the troops you would need as well for your actual sisters. So there really is a full range available. So here's another one. You can see they're all fairly dynamically posed. Again, I don't have them put together. Just this is like the witch hunter girl. So you can see she has her head goes in here. She does have a little bit of a, there we go. She does have a little bit of flash on her head. You can see she's got a little top hat. Very, very traditional witch hunter. So they're overall what I would say about them. Again, I don't, I have painted up one. I found it an absolute pleasure to paint, other than the primer issue because I didn't clean them enough. The detail is very strong. It's easy to pick out. They have good, solid mold lines, good, solid cast throughout. They don't have much in the way of mold lines. I apologize. But all in all, very happy with the purchase. I would say if you're looking for a new Daemonette Force, or something for Slaanesh, and you don't want to wait for a Slaanesh release, good choice there. If you're looking for a new Dark Elf release, and you don't want to wait for some new Dark Elves, well, you've certainly got some good options. As I said, the troops will be coming out here, I don't know when, probably a couple months. If you're looking for maybe an interesting replacement, maybe you don't like the idea of Stormcast, but you want to have a sort of counts as Stormcast army in Fantasy, or whenever we get a new Devoted of Sigmar army, or maybe you want to have your Sisters of Battle in plastic for 40k, then you got a great choice there. So all in all, these were fantastic figs. They're extremely well made, beautiful detail, lots of cleanup as far as one, scrubbing them, and two, to get rid of the mold release, and two, flash removal. Mold lines, not really that bad. So less like detailed scraping of like getting a tiny line off, more just making sure that all the little pieces are gone. So all in all, I'm going to give them a solid A. I was thrilled with the release. I can't wait to get the rest of the troops I have ordered and work on this army later in the year. For now, I've kind of set them to the side, and I'll be doing the non-battle sisters just for fun, funsies, whenever I want to paint something as a change of pace. But there you go. That's the Toughest Girls in the Galaxy 2 Kickstarter minis, especially focusing on the freebies. I hope you enjoyed that product review, and if you are in the market for one of those 3 armies, I'll put the link below down to Raging Heroes so you can go check out when those are available. And as always, we will see you next time. Just can't wave. Bye-bye. See you later.